Book of Psalms, number 128. Psalms have numbers and chapters.
Amen.
Amen. You found it. We stand from the New King James. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his ways. When you eat the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord blessed you out of Zion, and may you see the good of Jerusalem all the days of your life. Yes, may you see your children's children. Peace be upon Israel. Amen. You may be seated. Sermon number 11 in our series on Thy Kingdom Come. Making our transition from what we do as individuals within the kingdom to the very first institution that God placed here on the earth that we as kingdom citizens need to understand. So today we're going to be talking about the kingdom definition of family. Let me emphasize, today we're going to be talking about the kingdom definition of family. I'll say it one more time. The kingdom definition of family. If you study art, any kind of art, whether it be music, painting, whatever kind of art it might be, poetry, art always reflects our society. That's why if you ever see a painting by Picasso, you'll notice that there is an eye up here, and a nose down here, and the mouth is over here, and everything is all out of place and disjointed. That's because during his time, everything was in chaos. It was a chaotic time that he lived in. So art will reflect what's going on within a society. Now, for us, the medium that really reflects what we see in our society, other than music, would be television. And television has given us a historical portrayal of how this country views family. After World War II, when the soldiers came back, there was a baby boom. And television was just really getting its legs up and going. So in the 1950s, we had some shows that kind of gave us a glimpse as to what was on the mind of everybody, and it was family. Late in the 50s, we got Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver. That was the idea family. Then in the 60s, as the divorce rate climbed, we got shows like Western Bonanza, The Big Valley. Do y'all remember those? Remember that there were single parents. Those of you that are old enough to remember those shows. Now the way they did this though, they couldn't say they were divorced, so the parents always had passed away, so they were always widowed. But they had single parents that they began to show. And then in the 1970s, they finally went a little further. Some of y'all may remember Maude. Who can remember Maude? Raise your hand. Okay, some of y'all may not know Maude. Maude was a divorced lady who was raising kids. Maude, even on a 2-episode show, had an abortion. Y'all didn't know that? Yeah, Maude, 1970s, Maude came out, and it was society's way of looking at how things were. There was actually, I used to think the first reality show came off of MTV. It didn't. There was a reality show called The Family in the 1970s where they actually went into the house of this family. And they watched them. The reason the show didn't last long is because they were in there approximately 6 months. And there was a divorce, and the son came out and said he was a homosexual, and all this happened in the 1970s. Y'all don't know that, huh? Then we got this late in the 1970s, in the mid-70s, late 70s. You got the Waltons, Eight is Enough, the Brady Bunch. And for some of us, we had the Jeffersons. Right? We, you know, the black middle class was moving up, so we had the Jeffersons. They were moving on up. They finally got a piece of the pie. Right? But then we had the other side, Good Times. They never saw a piece of the pie. And it was so bad, I remember when Thelma was going to marry a football player, and he tripped and messed up his knee. They couldn't get out the ghetto for nothing. Then in the 80s, we had the moral majority that showed up with Ronald Reagan. And out of that, we got the greatest show that ever hit television that depicted the perfect family, The Cosby Show. You might have missed church Wednesday night, but Thursday you were in front of the TV, 7 o'clock, to watch The Cosby Show. Here you had a family that was functional. Remember? They were functional. You know, they never got out of sorts with one another. And they had a little cash. Doctor, lawyer, functional family. Looked like we were doing pretty good until the 1990s, and we got married with children. And we got the dysfunctional, disillusioned, dumb family. And this was a reflection of how the family was starting to be seen. And that's when Oprah and Jerry Springer and Raldo and all of them kind of got big. And you know what they got big off of? The family. Talking about how dysfunctional the family was. So in the 1990s, we had a lot of dysfunctional families portrayed on TV, and then we tried to counterbalance with some other families. But Art was telling us that there was something changing in the family. Then 2000 came, and Showtime decided they would give us Queer as Folk. Well, who doesn't know what Queer as Folk is? Somebody doesn't know what Queer as Folk is. Queer as Folk was a show about homosexuals that had families. Queer as Folk. Men on TV kissing each other. Yeah, that's it. And that leads us to where we are today. Adrian remarked the other day, every show you flip on, you got to have somebody on the other side of things. You know, you got your heterosexuals, but you always got one of them others. They're prominent. And now we've got this new definition that has come out from society as to what the family is. So let me give you society's current definition of the family. Any group of people that cohabitate and love each other regardless of race, sexual orientation, or any other formal or legal commitments to each other. So, as long as you are cohabitating, it doesn't matter if it's all men, it doesn't matter, all women, it doesn't matter. Whoever's under that roof, this is society's definition of a family. And they push it so hard that whenever a Christian stands up to start talking about family, the first thing they say to us is that we're not tolerant. You're not tolerant. It's not it at all. By the way, society can define things however they want to. That's fine. I mean, they can define it however they want to. But I think in the church, we've kind of messed it up a little bit because we've gone with what's called the traditional family. And the traditional family is a husband, a wife, and children living under the same roof. That's family. Traditionally. However, that comes up a little bit short. Technically, that's okay, but that's not really a biblical family. It's not the kingdom family. How many of y'all are curious as to what the kingdom family actually looks like? Amen. If you're not curious, leave. You're curious. Okay, you're curious. You stayed, that means you're curious. All right. Psalms 128 gives us a picture of the actual biblical family. Now, I want you to pay close attention, especially you singles. If you're single, I want you to really pay close attention to this.